Well, gosh, I'm getting a lot of time up front this morning, and that's a little different for me. And it's challenging when you got such a big crowd, and it's crowded in here. But you know where it's even more crowded than this room? Japan.
Japan on the surface seems like such a, it's such a wealthy country, and they have it all together, and everybody's fine, and they don't need help from anybody. And but underneath the surface, they're just like everybody else who's lost. Everybody else who doesn't have Christ, their heart's not right. They're horribly lost, and just the fact that it's a first world country that has the second highest suicide rate just really made me think, why?
I'd heard so much about the hopelessness there and how there's so many, the suicide rate is the second highest in the world. And from our view, we look at Japan as a successful economic nation, but there's obviously a huge hurt there and a huge need there.
It's all about keeping face. It's all about looking a certain way. Everybody has to look a certain way, and you don't want anybody to think you have problems. You don't want anybody to know about your problems. You don't share your feelings. You don't share your problems with your friends. They're very shallow relationships. We really need each other as believers for encouragement, to exhort one another, to rebuke one another. We really, really need that, and it's a beautiful thing that we get to have.
In downtown Tokyo, in some of the most expensive and most densely populated places in the entire world, there are several teams of church planters trying to reach people who are, for the most part, completely unengaged, have never heard the gospel.
The idea of having grace-based faith is just like it is for many people around the world. It's opposite. It's so opposed to the way that our hearts work, that we want to always be earning our way to God. We always want to be showing how much we can hold to Him and be impressive. But that's not what He's there for. That's not what He wants of us. He doesn't ask for our things. Our greatest works are filthy rags to Him. But He just wants humble and contrite hearts to worship Him.
Ishinomaki is a town in the northern part of Japan that was hit by the tsunami last March. In the particular area that we were, sort of the township within the city of about 1 million people total, in the town that we were in, about half of the people were killed, either are missing and sort of presumed dead. So if you can imagine just the devastation, the brokenness of the people, they're longing for answers, they're longing for truth. Nothing that they have in their culture, their existing religions, has answers for them.
For me, one of the biggest encouragements while we were there was the simplicity of the gospel. In America, the gospel is it's made to be very complicated. It's very westernized, and in order to witness, there's almost different strategies you have to take. And once we went to Japan, these people don't know anything about the gospel. They don't even know who's Jesus. They don't know anything about God. And so it's so refreshing and so beautiful to just be able to go in there and just tell them, and it's really easy.
If we're to be like a light in a world of darkness, Japan is just a dark place, and there's people that are there that are not worshiping the Creator, that don't know about the greatest story ever told, about the best promise ever made to the people of the world, is that Christ came to save them from sin, from their own sin, and paid the penalty himself. And that there's nothing we can do and nothing we can earn to win that grace, but it's been given freely as a gift.
It means so much for them to become a believer there, and it costs so much that it helped me contrast to what I've known as Christianity in my whole life in America. And what I've seen is that people feel like it's a decision that they make, and they do an altar call and they pray their magic prayer, and that's it, and that's Christianity. But I felt like the believers that I met in Japan were so desperate to talk about Jesus, and were so excited because Jesus has to be everything for them, because they give up everything to follow Jesus. They give up their family, and they give up their social standing, they give up everything to follow Jesus. It inspired a couple of feelings in me, both anger at myself and at people here who don't realize how all-consuming Christ really is, and how we waste time just thinking about God on Sundays. But it also should inspire us to go and to encourage the believers, both in Japan and all over the world, that need that encouragement so much, and that have given everything to follow Jesus, and we should be there to encourage them and to help them to inspire others to ignore the costs and to follow Jesus.